There are a few things that are still wrong with America, and they're so repugnant that it stinks to the highest heaven. And this judge, Judge Goodin, is criminal. He's violating our laws, and it seems to come from a mind that is so trivial. He looks almost moronic. Now, he is celebrated as the great adopter of kids. One year he adopted 400 kids to strangers. And he's celebrated, as I said, in certain circles. The Department of Children and Families give him an award. Other groups give him awards. And this is so stupid. Now, Florida law says that when a parent, for whatever reason, loses dependency and parental rights, the children or child should be given to a relative, first of all. Secondly, it should be given to a child, an individual right in the community where this child was born and lives. Okay? This is putting the child first. But this judge, he's so into himself. I sat in his court. He took away my dependency, and others took away my parental rights. And what I think of him, he's just so stupid. He sleeps in during the trial. He's arrogant. He stops you from defending yourself. He gives you attorneys that are just subservient to him and are just hapless. They sit down and get you convicted. They won't even defend you, period. Because they have been appointed by him. He appoints your attorney. In my case, I went to court for a hearing, and he said, this guy was sitting down. He said, I'm going to appoint this guy to defend you. He's black. He was from Barbados. He came to America. He was in the military, and he became an attorney. This guy is stupid. This guy, he could not have been an attorney in the Caribbean. Now, he just depended on this judge for work, and therefore he's telling me, oh, the department has a lot of evidence. They had no evidence. Oh, the department, this is why don't you settle for mediation? And mediation is that you're not bargaining. They're telling you exactly what they want. In other words, they want to get this without a trial where they have to present the evidence, which they don't have. And they're subject to appeals and to see how they're evil and corrupt and violating the laws. Okay? Now, that's the part where, and then as a matter of fact, the trial is a civil trial. Now, can you be tried for a crime in a civil trial? That's unconstitutional. The United States Constitution says that when you're charged and being tried for a crime, you have these rights. You have the right to attorney. You have a right to a jury trial. You have a right to be tried for a speedy trial. They violate your due process rights, not only procedural but substantive. They have people coming in line. They have psychologists that are violating your privacy rights. They testify without you waiving your privilege, the client, professional privilege. In my case, they will just do anything. They send you. I was appealing every ruling that came down. So what they started to do now, they have a post stamp machine in their office. They'll stamp it as soon as the trial is over, and they hold it there. And 30 days after, they'll put it in the mail. So when it comes to you, it's too late to appeal it. That's mail fraud, perhaps wire fraud. Okay, and there's nothing you could do about it because who will listen? As a matter of fact, the same Judge Goodin, he will even appoint you appeals attorney. And again, the appeals attorney is his friend. He appoints them, he gets them work, and they're not fighting for you. In other words, in my case, there were substantive issues. She's going to talk in terms of, I really want to know if this is the way he behaved, yada, yada, yada. And she never really dealt with the issues that are germane to overturning the decision. As a matter of fact, she is so outrageous and so bold because the judge appoints her that she's calling me up and cursing me on the phone. You're effed up. You're this, you're that. Calling my girlfriend and telling her that, you know what, why you with this black man and all this kind of thing. She is supposed to be representing me. And that's what she's going on with. Judge Goodin person. And so they're violating the Florida law, Florida Constitution, United States Constitution, this judge, and taking all these kids away. And you know what? There's a new social problem called, they will ask you, were you in foster care? If you were in foster care, then know you have special problems. Now, this judge is so stupid because look, the people that are foster care people that I know of in Florida, they're studying, I don't have any children, and I miss my child tax credit, and I miss those dependency claim on my income tax. So if I get 3 kids, which might be the maximum that you could get in child tax credits and dependencies, so if I get me 3 kids, I would love them and I'd care about them. So the federal government gives the state monies, then they are paid, and they're just going to pay the mortgage, put in the bank, take care of their kids and grandkids, and these kids that they have as dependents, now these foster kids, they just feed them Kool-Aid and food they get from the food bank, and treating them like a piece of garbage, like a piece of commodity, as soon as they reach 18. Now I used to hang down by the mission in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. You'll see a young person come around the corner with a black bag, a garbage bag, with a few things, and they're asking you questions like, can I stay here tonight? You know where I can get to eat? These were foster kids that became 18, and they just tossed them out in the street. Now, if they were with a family member, or that parent might have been criminal at a certain point, but then they changed and they became different, why not give back the parents the child? And because this child now is divorced from the real family and from the parents, and you see, parental commitments and so forth is not only because it's biological, I'm your child, or you're my parent, or whatever. It's because of the relationship they've had, providing for them, taking care of them, seeing them grow, seeing them succeed, and so forth. All these things cement the relationship to make it a long-term relationship. So that this child, until this child dies, you would have these family members. But with these people, these idiots that call themselves, we care about these kids, as soon as they're 18, they throw them out in the street. They're playing games. Well, this is your granddad, and this is your mom, and this is your brother, and all this crap. They have them in homes where they're going to say, okay, this is your brother, and this is your sister. And you know what? These foster kids, the guys screwing the girls, abusing them, okay? Even some of these judges and some of these officials, I understand, in Florida, they take these foster kids and have them in orgies and have sex with them. And so I'm asking the federal government, I'm asking the president to investigate this judge here. I'm asking the Congress to investigate this judge. I'm going to ask even the Pope to excommunicate him because he's evil. All right? He watch me. I am a substitute teacher, and he's going to say that I am not gainfully employed, so that I have to show that I to take care of my family, and that was not the issue up front. There was no reason for them to take my child, but just because the FBI tells them to take my child because I won't work for the FBI, and others because I'm on the television in Jacksonville and showing brilliance. These white folks figure like, oh, this child is going to be so brilliant, more brilliant than our children, so let us take this child away. This judge once was, I even complained to the Judicial Commission, Judicial Qualification Commission. They tell me, well, those are issues you could appeal. He's sleeping on the job. He gave the Department of Children and Families to write the opinion so that they wrote a perfect opinion so that you can't win against that. It doesn't deal with the facts of the case. The opinion is not what happened in the trial. Right? But because he's lazy, because he's kind of like mentally disabled, because he said it, I don't remember what happened yesterday, today. He looks as if he's a drunk. He's sleeping, his face is red, like if he's crazy. And as I sat down in that court watching his face and how he's carrying on, I see this guy like if he's a moron, like these mongoloid kids. I think he's borderline moron or some crazy or something like that. And so, as I said, I'm going to ask the government to really investigate this guy because he figured like it's over, but it's not over. For the next 100 years, I'm going to get justice. I'm not going to threaten him. I'm not going to make him feel like his safety is at risk. I'm not going to do that. I'm not interested in stupid stuff. But all legal avenues that are available and all public relations and other areas that are available. I'm going to use them because this guy is criminal and he should be taken off the bench. He's abusing parents and he's abusing these kids because these kids, when they finish at 18 and they dropped out and they're thrown into the streets, they don't have no good education. They don't have no job prospects. They're going to be drug addicts, drug dealers, prostitutes, jailbirds. This is all they're doing. And can you imagine this in America? This judge doesn't have the common sense to see what he's doing. And he has this psychologist advising him. Can the psychologist show him the effects of foster living on these kids and what's going to happen down the road? So you see, Florida basically is doing this because they need money to run the state. They want to institute an income tax so that they get a significant amount of revenue by taking people's kids. Furthermore, this Judge Gooden, these same attorneys that he appointed to represent parents, they're also involved in adoption so that an attorney might be approached by a parent saying, look, I give you $25,000 to get me this kind of child. I want a mixed race child or I want a blue-eyed, blonde-haired, white child. So that they're going to talk amongst themselves. So one going to say, oh, I'm representing such a child. So it's foregone. You can let this child be taken by the state. They're going to frustrate the parent, take away the child permanently, and then he has a child now to adopt. So that there's so much conflict of interest in this whole thing. It's criminal.